In today's show, we look ahead to Friday in the NBA, all of the action, the streaming options, the next 5 days, what we're doing short-term, injury updates, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball, and Substack, joshloyd48.substack.com. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this week with more odds, props, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Let's look at these games. We'll talk about some injury updates as we go through them. Warnie.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right, first game is Hawks and the Hornets. The Hawks are 1-point favorites in this one, but there is big injury news here. Clint Capella, old mate Clint.
Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
He's out for 1 to 2 weeks with a calf strain. DeJounte Murray remains out. The Baptist John Collins remains out as well. Cody Martin remains out for Charlotte. So is Dennis Smith Jr. So there's lots of things happening here. Onyeka Okongwu will be the starting center. He's a pretty clear ad. He is a pretty clear ad. I think he's a priority ad even over Dante DiVincenzo, even though there's a chance that Okongwu's value it's almost definitely not going to last as long as what DiVincenzo's is. Right, so Okongwu is a great ad, but we've seen a couple of games where he started with Capella was out when we had the aforementioned dental pain, and he was mid. He didn't blow us up, did he? He was fine. And a lot of people have asked me this question, do I add Okongwu or Kessler or Okongwu or Duren? And I think you could make the argument that Okongwu and Duren might produce the same value now, but Duren's got a better opportunity to do it for longer periods of time. Yes, maybe Okongwu does do more than Jalen over this little period of time, over for a week or two. But when you're looking long term, I don't see it there for Onyeka. I also want to watch DeAndre Hunter, who had a 20-point quarter last game. He also had 3 quarters that totaled 5 points. But he does have extra opportunity for rebounds with no Murray and Collins, extra opportunity for shots with no Murray there, or not Murray and Collins, with Capella and Collins, extra opportunity for shots with no Murray. He's been pretty mid in most categories, but his scoring has taken a little bit of a tick up with these guys out. So let's watch that. I do not think he is anything more than a short-term streamer if you're looking for points. And you're all well aware of my thoughts on DeAndre Hunter as a fantasy player for the Hornets. They have welcomed back LaMelo Ball, and Gordon Hayward is likely to return in this game. So what does that mean for Kelly Oubre Jr. and Jalen McDaniels? I think that Hayward will stay on the bench for this game, and they will work him back into the starting line. But someone needs to move to the bench, and I think it probably will be Oubre. It still absolutely befuddles me to see him be focused in on as a number one offensive option. Yes, that is probably the reason why they lose every game, and they have a pitiful offense and defense. But it's been happening. So I want to see the impact of Hayward here on Oubre, on McDaniels, as well as LaMelo Ball back. I can't see McDaniels remaining as a 12-team league guy. Your sell-high window is so just slightly ajar after he put up a big game last time, Jalen McDaniels. Oubre's is open a little bit longer, but I really do think both of these guys are going to drop off. But I want to see it. I've been wrong on Oubre all season. Maybe I'll continue to be wrong. Maybe he is actually legitimately good. He's not, but maybe he is actually legitimately good. And we'll see where it goes. I still can't fathom giving him 30 usage, but it's what's happening. So we want to this is going to be the first time, I think, if Hayward does play, that we have seen this team play with Ball and Hayward both active. And we still don't have Cody Martin back. Not that he'll necessarily be back anytime soon. So we want to watch it. We want to see what happens there. Kings and the Pistons, second game. No one is out. Now, Marvin Bagley isn't on the injury report. He left last game with knee soreness. So that does change quite a bit here. We know that Isaiah Livers is out. And in Sacramento, Fanapants, Kevin Huerter, he missed the last game. He is officially questionable with ankle soreness here. With him out, it was Terrence Davis that started, and Monk got a big boost. Monk is the guy, and then Davis is the next option as a stream guy there. What we do want to watch is Keegan Murray, because the evidence with him playing and Fox playing is that Murray struggles. And when Fox is out, Murray's value jumps. It's really hard to look at Keegan Murray as an absolute must-roster player. He's in the Jaden Ivey, Benedict Mathurin group of even maybe the Jalen Williams group of guys that you hold and you hope things really fire up in February or maybe January. But if we're just talking current production and production this week and next week, he's not there. I also do want to watch De'Aaron Fox because he has really struggled with his shooting. Like the numbers are just in the toilet, which is what it's been like for a lot of his career. I do think that he has probably trended too far in that direction and he's a little bit of a buy low. The minutes were great last game, 41 minutes on a back-to-back. So I don't think the foot's bothering him, but I want to know what's going on with his shooting now. Can we expect some level of improvement? And then for the Pistons, let's watch Jalen Duren. Because last game, he played like 36 minutes. And I think the minutes were up because Bagley played 9. So, what is Jalen Duren's playing time? Because the game before he played 24, the game before he played 28 as a starter. 24 minutes of Jalen Duren is borderline 12-team league. 28 is probably 12-team. 30 plus is definite 12-team. I think you want to have him on your roster, but do not get suckered in to what we saw last game and go, here we go. It's all happening. All right, because that was, as wrong as it might seem to you and me as outsiders, that was because they still prioritize giving Marvin Bagley minutes. So that's what we want to watch. What does the minute split look like there? We also want to talk a bit about prioritizing the wrong guys. We want to watch Alec Burks. Because they are consistently cutting Jaden Ivey's minutes. His minutes over the last 6 games, 28, 26, 22, 27, 25, 26. As Burks' minutes have started to rise. Burks has played 20 plus in 4 of the last 5 games and had a massive scoring game last time out. He's an interesting stream option. I wouldn't say he's a 12-team must roster, but he's stepping it up a little bit here, which is annoying, but also intriguing. It's the holiday season. You're out having a few drinks with mates. A few become a few too many. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. What are the odds you get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, you kill someone. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. Today's episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy, but it's not traditional daily fantasy. This is better. It's just player projections. You don't have to worry about salary caps and going up against thousands of people. It's you versus the lines that are created. So you go in there and you look at Onyeka Okongwu, over under, say, 7.5 rebounds. You go, I'll take over. You look at DeAndre Hunter, over under rebounds at 1.5, and you go, I'll take under. And you put up to 2 to 6 of those individual lines into one entry, and you can win up to 25 times your entry fee back. It's fast. You can do it in under 60 seconds. It's available in over 30 US states. It's available in Canada. And there's multitudes of sports. It's not just the NBA. It's disc golf. It's NFL. It's college football. It's college basketball, both men's and women's. It's European basketball. It's cricket. It's MMA. It's golf. It's boxing. It's probably swimming. I don't know. There's so much different stuff over there. So check it out. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Okay, let's go back to look at games now. Pacers, Cavs. Cavs are 7-point favorites here in this one. We know that Daniel Tice and Kendall Brown are going to be out. Chris Duarte is also going to be out. He remains in the G League, looking like a return coming next week for him. Dean Wade is out. Rick Rubio is out. Dylan Windler is out in Cleveland. In Indiana, what we want to watch is Isaiah Jackson. There are a few misconceptions going around here. I think that Jackson's a drop. I said he was a drop probably 2 weeks ago because it just didn't appear that they were even going to prioritize him, even if Miles Turner got traded. And the likelihood of Turner getting traded feels like it's getting lower and lower every day. Right? They are using Jalen Smith as the backup center now and not Isaiah Jackson. Right? So I think that he's a drop. You could hold through the trade deadline, no problem. But even if you do, with the way things are trending, there is no guarantee he even plays 20 minutes, even if Turner gets traded. And the reason we loved him as a stash is we thought, yes, he is going to be 27 minutes a night if Turner gets traded, or when Turner gets traded. And now those two somewhat certainties of big minutes and a Turner trade feel like distant possibilities. The other misconception around Jackson is people think, oh, well, that's fine. We'll clear some minutes out in here. Maybe they'll trade Jalen Smith so that Jackson and Turner can play together. No, Jackson never plays power forward, ever. Right? He never does. And Turner is a center. We have seen he's a center. Like, I know he played with Sabonis, but that was trying to fit two square pegs into round holes. Turner is the center. Jackson never plays with him. And then there's people like, oh, well, just wait, maybe they're going to trade Isaiah Jackson. Like, you're just hanging on to hope at this point. Like, I could say that for anybody. Oh, what if he gets traded? I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think you're better off, in most cases, cutting your losses. Let's see what we do with Andrew Nembhard. I think he's trending towards a drop. Last game was bad. The game before was good. The game before that was bad. He's had some good games next to Halliburton, some bad games next to Halliburton. What it is feeling like, though, is that if Halliburton goes big, it's really hard for Nembhard to do it. If Halliburton struggles, Nembhard could pick up the slack. And that makes it really tough to hold on to him. I think we do it one more game, but this is an extra data point here. For the Cavs. Jakaris LeVert coming off the bench. Last game, I think, is more indicative of what to expect from him versus the game 2 games ago. I do not think he is anything more than a 12-team streamer. Points leagues, you can go for it, no problem. Category leagues is too much damage. And then I also watched Darius Garland, who is a buy low, but he is really struggling. I wonder if it's his eye, but the shot's not falling. The usage is down. Mitchell is just dominating this team, and it's impacting Garland's value. I don't think we should look at Garland as a top 30 player. Probably top 40 is more realistic now, but there's still a little bit of a buy low window available. The next game is the Boston Celtics hosting the Orlando Magic. Boston is a gigantic 12.5 point favorites. The Magic are, of course, without Gary Harris. What a shock. Jalen Suggs, yeah. Wendell Carter, Chuma Okeke, Jonathan Isaac. Every dickhead is out. We continue to get no updates. This team sucks. But Boston, oh yeah, with Boston, it's good news. Al Horford is back. Back from his personal issue. Right? Well, sorry, he's questionable from his personal issue. I think he's back. Rob Williams is likely back. So don't expect 28 minutes from Rob Williams. I think that's really unlikely. Maybe 20 minutes is a more realistic expectation. But he's back. On the Magic side of things, I want to watch Bol, who does one thing or two things every game where you go, what the hell was that? That was amazing. And then he does another thing where you go, what are you doing? And that's basically the Bol experience. He's been up and down with minutes 19, 31, 30, 22, 27 over the last 5 games. And I still maintain that he is going to lose some of his value when those literal 5 rotation players return. But for now, you keep rolling. If you get a top 60 player in a trade, I would do it. If the trade offer you're getting is a top 100 guy, I wouldn't. Because he maybe can maintain top 100 value. But there is still, we always just wanting to watch what's the playing time look like? How does it go? And then Markelle Fultz, who was brilliant, and then against the Raptors, he was terrible. And this situation is going to do my head in all season with him and Anthony trading value back and forward. Fultz is the guy that I favor because he is the starter. And in general, when you're looking at where the value goes, just always marginally lean the starter in that spot because it's just easier for him to get those minutes. Because if he plays decently when he's starting the game, they're more likely to roll with him. Or if he plays good, they're more likely to roll with him. If he plays poorly, then they can go to the backup for a few more minutes. But majority of scenarios, play well, play average, keeps him in a starter's minute role. I think that's how I approach that. For the Celtics, we want to see Horford and Williams back. We want to see what it does to the team. And then how the trickle-down effect works. What it means for Grant Williams. What it means for Derek White. What it means for Malcolm Brogdon in particular. You know that Cornette and Hauser are going to lose out a lot. But we want to see Horford and Williams back. We want to see the trickle-down impact on the entirety of the team. The Warriors and the Sixers, of course, we know that Steph Curry is out. Initially, he's out 2 to 3 weeks. And then it's like he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And now it's like he's expected to miss a month. I think a month sounds realistic for a subluxation of his shoulder. That seems to be real. So that's ruling him out basically until the end of January or close enough to that. I'm always going to chuck a little bit of extra time on the end of an injury timetable. So he's out. Tyrese Maxey's still a few weeks away with his foot fracture. Andy Wiggins is also out for the Warriors, while for Philadelphia, DeAnthony Melton missed last game with a back injury. He is questionable. Actually, no, he's not. He's off the injury report. Big news there. And Daniel House is probable. So for the Warriors, with Wiggins out, with Curry out, Poole is going to start, and I think DiVincenzo is the guy here. Klay Thompson will be back as well. He missed last game, but I think they'll go Poole, DiVincenzo, Klay. They could go Poole, Klay, Wiggins, Kuminga, and that's a possibility, but I think Kuminga's more of a 4-5 versus a 3-4. So I think you'll get DiVincenzo starting, playing big minutes, and being pretty useful. When Wiggins returns, DiVincenzo does lose some value, but for now, he's worth a grab. And then I want to watch for deeper leagues.
When you look at Moses Moody.
I want to see what Moses Moody's able to do. I really like Moody as a player. Kerr does not agree with me, and that's fine. He's better than me at this. But 23 minutes last game for him, 19 3 games ago. Deeper leagues, 18-team leagues, we'll want to pay some attention here to Moody. And we're going to watch Kuminga as well. For the Sixers, D'Anthony Melton should be back and starting, so let's see if he picks back up where he left off. And then I do want to watch Tobias Harris.
I think I am a TH.
T to the H.
Yeah, TH for life.
Sorry, I went early on that. So yeah, he's someone that I've been wrong on so far this season. Do the steals maintain? Does his usage maintain? Does his assists maintain? I think he had 9 assists last game. He's really surprised me a lot this season, so let's see if he's able to do it again. Nets and Raptors. Brooklyn are 1.5-point favorites in this one. Anunoby is out, Achua is out, Otto Porter is out, and Seth Curry is questionable in this game. But we are going to get the return of Royce O'Neal, who's off the injury report after missing the last 2 games for personal reasons. I want to watch what Ben Simmons we get. He's played 21 minutes and 23 minutes in his 2 games since returning. Are we back to 30 minutes with Simmons straight away here? And how does he look in those minutes? And then also O'Neal. Like, is O'Neal going to continue to play these 37 minutes a night? Probably. But now they are basically fully whole with TJ Warren pushing up. Yuta Watanabe is back. If Seth is out, it will help O'Neal. But on a fully healthy team, which if Curry plays they are, where does Royce's value lie? For the Raptors, Chris Boucher. I know it's annoying, right? We know that Anunoby's out and Achua's out and Porter's out. And 2 games ago, Boucher played 28 minutes, and then the next game he played 17. So predictability, stick it up your ass. You're never going to get it. Like, it's all over the place. Well, they got so many other options. They can throw Koloko or Hernan Gomez or Banton or Birch or any other dickhead into that rotation. So I think Boucher still is worth looking at, but play 20 minutes again, mate, and you're gone. I also watch Gary Trent, who I think reasonable people would agree has been relatively poor this season.
Nice, Gary!
He's probably going to start without Anunoby, but again, 44 minutes against the Magic, 25 against the Kings. How do you plan for that? His shooting's all over the place. I feel like he's going to turn into a Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway, points and threes streamer who's very inconsistent. Still hold him for now, but it's not looking great, especially when OG returns for where his value lies. Today's episode is also brought to you by BetOnline.net, your number one source for all sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, including basketball, football, college bowl season, and the FIFA World Cup final. Can't speak. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, like looking at college football bowl games. LSU against Purdue. That's a January 2nd game. LSU are 14-point favorites. Do you agree with that? You can check all the odds for all the college football bowls over at BetOnline. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. Let's go to the next game. It is the New York Knickerbockers and the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are 3-point... That can't be right. Surely I wrote that wrong. Are the Bulls favorite? Fuck, they are. All right, anyway, the Bulls are 3-point favorites against the Knicks. Cool. Obi Toppin is out. Lonzo Ball is out, maybe for the rest of the season. Ayo Dosunmu is questionable with that pelvic contusion. I don't think it's going to matter for him. Like, you're not going to use him in 10 or 12 or probably even 14-team leagues. For the Knicks, it's been a really strong run of things from Quentin Grimes. Now, he can be up and down because the usage can be so low, but his ability to bang in threes and get some steals has appeal on your fantasy team. Think of him as a perfect 3-and-D glue guy. In a 14-team league, he's definitely a 12. Try again. In a 14-team league, he is a rosterable player, absolutely, right across the board. 12-team league, I think he's there. He's sort of on the border, but there are, much like Dosunmu, when you play with such low usage, if you have even a slightly off-night shooting, then there's nothing. You got to be banging them in at a really high percentage. And it's why low usage big men can get away with it, because they nearly always do hit them at a big percentage. Low usage guards and wings, they will have the occasional good night, but if you have a 40% shooting night, then you've got like 8 points, 1 3, 2 rebounds, and nothing else. Right? That is where that problem lies. And that's the Dosunmu problem. Starting point guard with 13% usage doesn't get big assists. Well, if he doesn't hit his twos at 63%, he offers nothing. And if Grimes isn't banging in threes at 45% on 15 usage, then the value gets tenuous. I still think he's fine to have as a 12-team league guy, but beware of that. Also want to watch Emmanuel quickly because they played him 31 minutes last game. Actually, it was like 34 because it was an overtime game. But yeah, giving him that big playing time, prioritizing over Fournier and Reddish is interesting. I don't trust it like at all, but he's always an interesting stream option. For the Bulls, Alex Caruso. There's value here for specific people. You want assists and steals? Thank you, Alex. I really love you. You're a really good bloke, and good luck with the Rabbits.
Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
But if you don't care about that, if you're looking for scoring or you're looking for efficiency, then he's useless on your team. So is he a must-roster player? For that, no. But should he probably be grabbed by someone in your league? Yeah, he should. 5 assists and 2 steals is really useful, and that's what he can bring on a nightly basis. Also want to watch Patrick Williams, who allegedly was getting benched for Javonte Green, and Javonte Green comes back and Williams plays 40 minutes and Green plays 10. So coaches lying is always awesome. I love it. It's the best thing we can have in the NBA. We should have more of it, in fact. Everyone should just lie all the time. So Williams has at least 14-team league value with some defensive stats stream value for 12s, but let's watch that minute split between Javonte and Pat and see if the lying continues. Wolves and Thunder is the next one. Minnesota are 1-point favorites. Towns is out, Prince is out, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl is out. But there's been an interesting addition to the injury report. Rudy Gobert, he sprained his ankle late in the game against the Clippers. He is now questionable. D'Angelo Russell is questionable as well with that knee contusion, while Jordan McLaughlin is out once again. Now, last game with Russell and McLaughlin out, they started Austin Rivers, and you can guess it went predictably poorly. They don't have another point guard. So maybe for 20-team leagues, you'd want to look at Rivers if Russell does in fact go out. What would be interesting is if you miss out on a Okongwu or a DiVincenzo, maybe you want to look at Naz Reid, because if Gobert is out, which I don't think he will be, but if Gobert is out, Reid is an elite streamer. But we don't know that yet. Jalen Noel also gets a bit of a boost with if Russell is out. I also watch Jaden McDaniels, who theoretically should be getting boosts with guys like Russell out and Towns out and maybe Gobert out, but he just does the same nonsense nothingness every game. In a points league, he's really hard to justify as a 12-team league guy. The defensive stats keep him going in category leagues, but where's the upside in this bloke? For the Thunder, we know Jeremiah Robinson-Earl is out, so we should get another start from the Bronco.
Broncos country, let's ride.
I really do think he's a 12-team league guy. Upside not there yet, but there's enough floor value. And we also want to watch Darius Bazley because he started last game over Robinson-Earl and he put up like 15 points and he can block shots. That's not for everybody, and he can have some really rough percentage nights. But at least in a 14-team league, I think you consider Bazley as a short-term guy. I wouldn't be holding Poku. Nothing good's coming from that. I'm not rushing to grab Bazley, but some scoring, some field goal percentage, some blocks, there's some appeal in that. Blazers, Mavs. Dallas are 3.5-point favorites. We got the news that Maxi Kleber is out for 6 to 8 weeks. That actually really hurts them. He is very good defensively. And yeah, that's 26, 27 minutes out of the rotation. Josh Green's also out, while Gary Payton and Nasir Little are out. So what happens with Kleber out? Well, I do think it helps Christian Wood. He played 35 minutes last game, so he might be able to push and play 30 more. I don't know whether he starts or not. He started the second half last game, but there's extra minutes for him. There's probably a little bit of safety in Dorian Finney-Smith, but last game, Kleber was out and Finney-Smith played only 25. And Reggie Bullock started the second half over him. So I don't think this means that we want to go grab Finney-Smith. I don't think it means we want to go and grab Reggie Bullock either. But it's something we want to watch. For the Blazers, Anthony Simons was really efficient last game. Yes, it was really helpful. I think it was against the Spurs. And when you're a guard or anyone literally going up against the Spurs, there are opportunities for big games, and Simons took advantage of that. So let's watch him. But Josh Hart didn't. He struggled. His minutes have been down a little bit recently, Joshy, and that's somewhat of a concern. I do think he is still a 12-team league guy, pretty clearly, but we're always going to reassess that. For the Mavs, let's watch what happens to Christian Wood. Do his minutes go up? Does he improve his performance? And Reggie Bullock, will they make the switch and start him? Or will he be a guy that plays 30 off the bench? as a 3-point streamer without being a 12-team league guy. Nuggets-Lakers is the next game for us to look at. This is the last game of the day. Maga Porter Jr. is out. Juan Toscano Anderson is out. Wenyen Gabriel is questionable, and I am certain that Anthony Davis and LeBron James will be listed probable. Sure, that'll happen. It doesn't look like Porter's going to be back anytime in the next couple of games, but we'll find out. What we want to watch is the 5-minute man, Bones Highland, who's really producing at a high level. I think his value as a shot creator is really needed with Porter out, and that's helping his value. I'm not certain that he's going to maintain it full-time rest of season, but we love him for now. I also want to watch Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's getting the 30 minutes, but it's very middling. No reason he can't be a 12-team league contributor, but when you're searching for upside or searching for games played, the streaming value of his spot, I think, is worth more than holding him most of the time. For the Lakers, Russell Westbrook. Now, it's a great example of some of the things that happen in people's minds. Last game, Westbrook played, 36 minutes or so? So immediately I got the comments, man, Westbrook is back, let's go. Yeah, conveniently ignoring that he played 21 minutes the game before that. That was great that he played that, and he played really well, really good defense against the Celtics. But does one game indicate you are back? I wouldn't say so, right? Because again, we look at this after the Pistons and go, well, he's washed, cut him, he's out of the league. When in the end, the reality somewhere fits in the middle. He probably still is a 12-team league guy, almost definitely is a 12-team league guy, but we're always worried about where the percentages take us. And then we want to watch Lonnie Walker.
Hello.
I do not believe Lonnie Walker is a 12-team must-roster player. Maybe he proves me wrong, but things are going south. He has been under 30 minutes in 4 of his last 6 games. I think the 21 minutes he played last game was probably on the low side. He's not going to stick that low, but his production just isn't there, and I don't really see him being a 12-team league guy. Let's look at some back-to-back streams for Friday, Saturday. I really like Jalen Williams, back-to-back for the Thunder, obviously, so Darius Bazley's in the mix. I've got Kevin Love there, but I don't know that he plays both games, but the Cavs do. Lamar Stevens, Drew Eubanks, Portland's got the back-to-back. Dorian Finney-Smith, you can throw in even Dwight Powell for deeper leagues. You can throw in Reggie Bullock in there for that back-to-back as well. Aaron Wiggins with the Thunder. Oh, and I've already got Dwight Powell on the list. If we're just streaming for Friday's action, Jalen Williams, Dante DiVincenzo, pretty clearly the big ragu. We add him. Quentin Grimes, I think he probably is pushing to 12s. Pat Williams, Thad Young, who started last game for the Raptors but didn't do much, but starting Thad Young is at least worth a look. Alec Burks, if Dwayne Casey goes that direction again. Bazley and Quickly. Deeper leagues, these guys are all available in over 90%. You got Thad, you got Bazley, Schroeder, Jalen Johnson, Aaron Neesmith, who'll probably start again, Timothy John McConnell, Terrence Davis, especially if Herter is out, and Lamar Stevens. And for points leagues, these guys are all available in over 50% of leagues. Onyeka Okongwu, must grab him, must-add player. Kyle Anderson, must-add player. Darius Bazley, stream. Malik Monk, must-roster. Markel Fultz, yeah, sure. I can't get my head around it. Mo Wagner, probably, yeah. Jalen Williams, yes. And Chris Boucher, worth a look as well. Let's look at the next 5 days. We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The only high-volume game is on Friday with 10 games. So we do have some streaming value. So who are the guys that we're going to take advantage of? Walker Kessler, he should be rostered everywhere, and he's got 3 low-volume days in the next 5 games. Next 3 low-volume games in the next 5 days. That's what I'm trying to say. Add him. Torrey Craig's got 3 as well. There's value in that. Monte Morris, yes, Beal might return, but Morris's value over the next 5 days with 3 low-volume days, 3 low-volume games is worth having. Kyle Anderson, he's only got 2 low volumes, but I don't care. He should be rostered. Same with Larry Nance. Denny Abdi's going to lose value when Beal comes back, but the fact that the Wizards play those 3 quality games over the next 5 nights is useful. Dan Gafford, the same. Porzingis might be back. He might not be. But there are 3 quality games in there. So even if he's only playing 17 minutes, it's 51 minutes almost minimum that Gafford's going to give you on low volume days over the next 5 nights. And then Bruce Brown with the 2 games there as well. If we just look at the next 5 days in totality, Okongwu's only got 2 games over the next 5 days, but he should be rostered. His value is high enough that you have him and you start him. Kyle Anderson's got 3, have him and start him every night. Larry Nance has got 2, have him and start him. Bruce Brown's got 3, probably startable most nights. And Bones Highland has 3 as well, close to startable. These other guys, Kessler, Grimes, and McDaniels, there's 3 games for those guys over the next 5 nights. It helps that Kessler's 3 games are on low volume days, so that makes him useful. Grimes doesn't have exactly that. He's got 2 games, so he's not maybe startable in all of them. But if you want to get an advantage of teams that play 3 games in the next 5 nights, you got a Jaden McDaniels ad, you got a Quentin Grimes ad there as well. I hope all of that helps you guys. Follow this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. And if you are here on YouTube, you know what to do. please thumb it up. Please leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.